What is good? What is up? It's Jordan or Texans Thoughts, and I'm back with another Texans film breakdown. Today, we're going to be looking at Texans great Brian Cushing. I love Cushing, man. He was the heart and soul of the defense. Offenses really feared him, partly because he was a bit insane, but also because he was a monster on the field. Violently physical, a hard hitter, always around the ball. Cushing was one of the best linebackers in the league in his prime, no question. And I'm going to show that to y'all today. So if you enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Also, make sure to check out the Texans Unfiltered website, podcast, Discord, Patreon, and all that great content. The links will be in the description. Alright, now let's break down the film of Brian Cushing, because the film don't lie. So starting off with Cushing's run defense, the biggest thing that stands out to me is his physicality. I honestly think Cushing just loved hitting people more than he loved football. I mean, when he was on the field, he was looking to kill anyone and anything in his path. He was a damn Terminator. And you can see that with how he violently attacks whoever has the ball, just tossing them to the ground like it's nothing. He's got that 99 hit power. Like whenever he tackles you, you're stopping dead in your tracks, not gaining another blade of grass. And that impact, having that type of guy on the team who's going to set the tone, who's going to set the physicality in the trenches like this, that has a lot of value, especially in the era that he played in where, you know, it's a run first league and you got to stop the run first as well. And that's what helped set up some of these great defenses that we had. Believe me, we would not have been great without Cushing. He was a key to the Texans defense. He was such a complete run defender, he could do it all, and as primarily a Mike, he had to deal with blocks a ton, and he was great at stacking and shedding or just evading them. And this value cannot be understated because offenses are designed to block the Mike. That's one of their main keys, right? But Cushing was just so good at taking the fight to these 300+ pound offensive linemen and just shoving them aside like it didn't even matter. We didn't need to have the best interior defensive lineman because Cushing could just take on these blocks like they were nothing. He won based off of a mixture of pure athleticism but also good hand technique. He fires off the ball here, building up speed, and then puts his right arm on the left elbow of the offensive lineman and swims over with his other arm. And because he's occupying the O-line's left arm, he can't get punched or pushed out of the play. He was so good with his hands, using swim moves like he was a damn pass rusher. And you just couldn't block him with fullbacks either because they're smaller than him. They'd try and go low to win the leverage battle, and Cushing knew that he couldn't out leverage them, so instead he would just go over them and make them miss entirely, leaving them in the dirt. You know, it's not the most technically sound way to defeat a block, but honestly whatever works, and Cushing was able to consistently get it to work. He was just a thorn in every offensive side, and I love on this one where he basically tries to jump over the fullback and he lands right into the running back to stuff him. Here's one play that I really think illustrates how offenses prioritize scheming against Cushing. So the Bucks, they're going to be running zone to the right, and usually the center and guard would be double teaming the defensive tackle to get a good push. Then off that double team, one of the offensive linemen would go block Cushing at the second level, right? But with that strategy, the offensive lineman, he's getting to Cushing later in the play and giving him a chance to build up speed and attack first. So to combat that and try and really stop Cushing, the Bucks send the right guard out to block Cushing first. He doesn't even help the center in any way whatsoever. He's just left one-on-one with that DT. And so that really just goes to show how important it was for offenses to shut down Cushing, and yet it still didn't matter. He's still able to avoid the block and make the tackle. Now you can't be a great linebacker on physical tools alone. While I talked about how Cushing was extremely violent and physical, he was also very smart and patient. He wasn't someone who would come flying downhill aggressively and lose his run fill responsibility. He was always reading the offense, and you can see here how he controls two gaps. The front side A gap looks to be wide open at first, and that's even where the running back looks to be going. But that's not Cushing's responsibility, and so he doesn't get wide-eyed and rush into the lane to stuff the running back. Instead, he hops around and waits for the running back to commit to a lane, and as that gap closes up, the running back goes to the backside, and look who's there waiting to clean it up, all because he was patient and disciplined. And these next two plays perfectly show the difference in being overly aggressive and being patient and disciplined. His running mate D'Amico Ryans would fly downhill, whereas Cushing would sit back and wait. And don't get me wrong, that definitely has its value on some plays, as Ryans is able to blow up a lead blocker, but you can't have both linebackers being this aggressive or else you're gonna get burnt. And so Cushing was just so good at controlling his aggression and violence and playing disciplined, never losing his gap and always being in perfect position to make a tackle. So the next thing with Cushing is his pursuit angles. We've established that he's a great run stuffer when it's going north-south and between the tackles, but what about when offenses try and stretch the field? We know Cushing was never really the fastest. No linebackers back then were really freak athletes like they are nowadays, but Cushing was again smart and calculated in the angles that he took to beat ball carriers to their spot. He regularly chased down runs, and I know it doesn't look super tough on film, but when things are moving so fast and in the heat of the moment, it's really tough to take that perfect angle like these. And if you're just one step off from that angle, you're screwed. Right? Cushing doesn't have Deion Jones-like speed, Bobby Wagner-like speed to rely on and bail him out. So he always had to be perfect. Taking these perfect angles honestly makes him look like he's got sideline to sideline speed. And I'm not saying he was some lumbering giant with 2 left feet, but come on, we all know. The next thing I want to talk about with Cushing is his ability as a blitzer. All that violence and tenacity that we talked about is really on full display when he gets to pin back his ears and blitz the quarterback. You can just tell he takes pride in it, and again, just loves to hit people. And you can see that this blitz is really schemed up well because they're going to be sending Cushing from the left here, and this right defensive end, he's going to be slanting sort of to the right of the O-line, and so that's going to drag this left guard with him to the right, and that's going to open up this huge lane that you can see because this tight end doesn't pick him up. And so blitzing has got to go hand in hand. Yeah, it's an effort thing and a skill for Cushing and timing and all that, but it's also about scheming him up and scheming open on these blitzes. And so Cushing's ability to impact all phases of the game, even on passing downs, was truly beneficial. We already had a solid pass rush, but sending him on these 3rd and longs really just dialed up the heat another notch. And man, offenses really had their hands full. And it all comes back to his physicality and being able to beat blocks. Like, what are you supposed to do if he can just run straight through your running back in pass protection? It's just unfair what he's able to do. His level of physicality, look here, he's just pushing back this offensive lineman to the ground and still getting the sack. Like, he was a different animal. And on this one, he's going to get double teamed. Gets through the offensive lineman at first and just runs through the running back. Man, what are you supposed to do? So talking about passing downs, this brings me to talking about Cushing in coverage. And I'm a little torn as to, whether it's a strength or a weakness. It's kind of like in between for me because, obviously it's not on the level that his run defense and blitzing is, but it's not bad. He's not perfect because, he's a linebacker and that's just not what they're supposed to be good at, but he's not horrible either. Overall, he was pretty sound and disciplined and smart in coverage. I thought he was actually surprisingly reliable in containing running backs out of the backfield. He did well to keep everything in front of him and discourage a throw. And man, if our linebackers right now could stick with running backs out the backfield, whew, I'd give my left leg for that. What's really special though is when he's able to get good enough depth to take away intermediate throws. Look at how he recognizes the route behind him and mirrors it nicely. That's a really crazy ability out of a linebacker. And so the tight end, he's going to be running a deep over route, and Cushing does so well to stick with it. He lets him cross his face at this point, and instead of it turning and running with his back to the ball, he just plays it from underneath, knowing that he has safety help over the top and that the throw would have to be absolutely perfect to thread that needle. Alright, that'll do it for my Brian Cushing film breakdown. He's really a complete linebacker, could do whatever you asked of him. Being a killer and nuisance in the running game, bringing that fire and passion to fuel the defense. You can even play him on 3rd downs, either as a blitzer or in coverage. I love Cush, and he'll always be one of the players I appreciated the most. So if you enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Check out the Texans Unfiltered website and podcast for more Texans content. All that good stuff will be linked in the description. This was Jordan or Texans Thoughts. Hope you enjoyed and come back for more. Take care everyone, and remember, the film don't lie.